You ever notice how the loudest ones are always the weakest? The ones who gotta bark, gotta yell, gotta prove something? They're the ones holding on by a thread. They make noise because inside, it's chaos. Inside, they're breaking down every second, hoping no one notices the cracks. But you don't make noise. You sit there, silent. You watch. You learn. You don't waste your strength trying to explain yourself to fools who ain't never gonna understand you anyway. And that's power most people ain't got. Calmness, kid. Calmness is a weapon sharper than any knife, colder than any stare. It's the mark of someone who's already seen the worst, felt the worst, lived through hell, and came out colder instead of louder. You don't scream when you know you can destroy. You don't shout when you know you can walk away and let silence burn 'em worse than words ever could. Look at the streets. Look at the broken ones. They're screaming, crying, fighting for scraps of attention, scratching the surface of things they'll never own. Respect, loyalty, peace. And why? Because inside they're restless, scared, empty. But the calm man, oh, the calm man terrifies him. 'Cause he ain't fighting for nothing. He ain't trying to prove his worth. He already knows it. He don't need crowds. He don't need applause. His mind is a battlefield he already conquered. His hands are weapons he don't flash unless he decides it's worth it. That's you, or that's who you're meant to be. Every second, you keep your calm when fools try to poke at you. When life tries to drag you down to its dirty games, you're reminding them, I ain't like you. I ain't desperate. I move when I want to move. I speak when I choose to. And when I do, it's already too late for you. See, calmness ain't born from comfort. Nah. It's born from pain, from sitting in dark rooms, staring at walls, listening to the echoes of your own damn failures laughing back at you. It's from bleeding in places nobody ever saw, rebuilding yourself with hands that were shaken, fighting wars nobody ever even clapped for. Calmness, real calmness, is the final form of survival. It's what you get when you've died 1,000 emotional deaths and still wake up saying, is that all you got? You don't get calm by living easy. You earn it. You suffer for it. You pay with every tear you swallowed when nobody gave a damn you were hurting. You pay with every smile you faked so people wouldn't see you crack. That's the currency of calmness. Pain in advance. Peace as a reward. And let me tell you something dark. They hate it. They hate that you can sit in a room full of noise, full of accusations, full of fake smiles and snake words, and just breathe, just watch, just exist without folding. They'll call you cold. They'll call you heartless. They'll say you don't care. And you know what? Let them. 'Cause while they're wasting their breath trying to pull you down into their mess, you're building an empire inside your mind. An empire they can't touch, can't shake, can't burn. Calmness is your fortress. It's your revenge. It's your crown, and it's louder than any scream they could ever throw at you. You know what else calmness does, kid? It exposes the truth. You sit still long enough, and people start showing you who they really are. They can't stand silence. It makes them nervous. It forces them to deal with their own reflection, and most of them, they can't handle it. They'll start talking too much, confessing things they didn't mean to say, betraying themselves without even knowing it. And you just sit there watching, collecting information, building your arsenal. You ain't got to lift a finger to destroy them. They'll do it themselves. Because when you're calm, when you refuse to bite back, to explain yourself, to dance to their circus music, you force the masks to fall. Calmness ain't passive. It's violent in its own way. It rips the lies out of people. It shows you who's weak, who's fake, who's got loyalty, and who's just acting. You want to see who's real around you? Sit still, say nothing. Watch who squirms, who sweats, who starts to stumble over their own fake smiles. You'll see clearer than ever before. Calmness ain't just a weapon. It's a damn lie detector. It ain't just how you survive. It's how you dominate without even lifting a damn hand. You're gonna learn the hard way, just like everybody who's worth a damn has learned. Your calmness is gonna cost you people. The ones who needed you to be loud, to chase them, to validate their insecurities. They're gonna fall away. They'll call you distant. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're heartless now. Let them choke on those words. You don't need them. Growth ain't comfortable, kid. When you get calm, when you stop reacting like a puppet to every pull and every jab, you stop being useful to the manipulators, the drama addicts, the emotional beggars who only felt powerful when they could make you lose your mind. You'll sit there, stone-faced, heart steady, eyes cold, and they'll realize they can't move you anymore. And instead of congratulating you, they'll hate you for it, because your calmness reminds them of what they'll never have, control over themselves. And that right there is their greatest fear. They ain't afraid of your anger, they're afraid of your stillness. They ain't afraid you'll scream. They're afraid you'll stop speaking entirely and just act. Cold, clean, and lethal. Remember that every time you feel the urge to explain yourself to someone too small to understand you, silence is respect for yourself. Calmness is loyalty to yourself. And when you walk away, when you turn your back without a word, when you leave people talking to your absence, listening to the echo of what they lost, that's when they'll finally get it. Not when you yelled, not when you begged, not when you explained 100 damn times what they were destroying. No, they'll get it when the calm hits them like a punch they never saw coming, when the door stays closed, when your name becomes a ghost they can't stop hearing in the places you used to light up. Calmness is punishment. Silence is revenge. You don't need to lift a finger to ruin them. You just need to stop being available. You just need to stop showing up for people who couldn't even show up for themselves. That's how you win in a world built to make you lose your damn mind. You win by keeping your soul intact when everything's designed to tear it apart. You're gonna have days where that calmness feels like a curse. Days where you'll sit there staring at the wall, wondering why you ain't reacting like you used to. Wondering why the fire inside you feels colder, harder, heavier. You'll miss the old version of yourself. The one who screamed, who cried, who fought like hell just to get a little piece of attention, a little bit of fake love from people who were never built to give it. You'll remember that kid who begged to be understood, and you'll feel a kinda grief nobody ever talks about. A grief for the person you had to kill to survive. But listen to me, and listen close. That death was necessary. That kid, he was good. He was pure. He was hopeful. But he was too soft for a world that chews up soft hearts and spits them out like they never mattered. You didn't kill him because you wanted to. You killed him because you had to. 'Cause out here, they don't reward kindness. They mistake it for weakness. They don't respect open hearts. They tear them apart and laugh while they're doing it. So you built something stronger, harder, colder. You built calmness out of the ashes of that old you. And every time you sit there in silence, every time you breathe through the rage, every time you smile without showing your teeth, you honor that kid. You tell him, I'll make sure they never break us again. Don't ever let anybody make you feel guilty for changing, for hardening, for moving different. You owe no one your softness, not anymore. You gave it away once, remember? You gave it with both hands, open, generous. And they crushed it without a second thought. You begged them to handle you with care, and they showed you just how careless they could be. So now you walk different. You talk different. You don't hand out pieces of yourself like free samples to people who ain't even earned a seat at your table. That's not cruelty, kid. That's survival. That's strategy. Calmness ain't about being numb. It's about choosing who gets to see the fire inside you and letting the rest believe you're made of ice. You can love, you can feel, you can still have that heartbeat under all the armor, but not everybody deserves to hear it. Not everybody deserves access to you. Calmness teaches you that. It draws the line. It says, you don't get to poke at my scars and call it love. You don't get to test my patience and call it loyalty. You either come correct or you stay the hell away. And when you start moving like that, you better believe the world will notice. They'll test you harder. They'll throw temptations in your path. They'll dangle cheap attention, fake apologies, hollow promises. Like candy in front of a starving man, they'll try to drag you back into old battles, old arguments, old versions of yourself you fought like hell to escape. Don't bite, don't flinch. Don't let them pull you out of that calm. 'Cause the second you break, the second you react, they win. And not just them. Every demon you ever fought inside yourself wins too. You ain't just battling people anymore, kid. You're battling the weakest parts of you. The ones that still want to scream, still want to beg, still want to bleed for people who already showed you they ain't worth it. Stay calm, stay cold, stay dangerous. Calmness ain't weakness. It's the deadliest form of power there is. It's what separates the survivors from the victims. It's what makes you a storm in a world full of dust. You know what's funny, kid? Calmness don't just scare the weak, it confuses them too. See, people expect reactions. They thrive on them. They say something disrespectful, and they're waiting for you to explode. They betray you, and they're waiting for you to beg. They leave you out in the cold, and they're watching for you to crawl back, hat in hand, heart in pieces. It feeds their ego. It makes them feel big, powerful, like they still own real estate in your head. But when you stay calm, when you nod, smirk, and turn your back without a single wasted breath, you starve them. You starve their pride. You make them question their worth. You make them sit in a room full of echoes, wondering why they ain't enough to break you anymore. That's the secret nobody tells you. Half the people who hurt you weren't even trying to get anything real. They just wanted to see if they could make you dance like a puppet. And every time you stay silent, every time you stay still, you rip the strings right out of their hands. You tell them without saying a damn word, I don't dance for nobody no more. And you'll see it clear as day, how fast their faces change, how quick the smirks fade into confusion, how the confidence turns to desperation. 'Cause without your reactions, they're nothing. Without your energy, they're just empty mouths running on fumes. They'll try harder at first, push more buttons, say nastier things, play dirtier games. They'll throw every cheap trick at you just to pull a scream out of your chest. That's when you smile. That cold, tired smile that says, you're too late. That's when you let them exhaust themselves, flailing in the void where your anger used to live. Calmness is your battlefield now, kid. And you win not by fighting, not by explaining, not by begging. You win by refusing to even show up for a war that's already beneath you. But I ain't gonna lie to you. It hurts sometimes. Oh, it burns like hell. There's a special kind of pain that comes from keeping it all inside, from choosing calm when every nerve in your body's screaming for revenge. You'll wanna lash out. You'll wanna shout every ugly truth you ever swallowed just to make them hurt like you did. But that's the trap, ain't it? That's how they drag you back down. Into the mud, into the noise, into the old you. The you that cared too much, fought too hard, loved too loud. You ain't that anymore. You're colder now, wiser, deadlier. Calmness don't mean you stopped feeling. It just means you stopped handing those feelings over to people too damn stupid to hold them right. You feel it all, the betrayal, the loneliness, the grief. But you feel it in silence now. You process it behind closed doors. You bleed where no one can see. And when you step out into the world, you do it clean, you do it sharp, you do it like a man who's already survived every hell they thought would finish him. And that's when you truly become unstoppable. When you realize you ain't owed closure. You ain't owed an apology. You ain't owed a damn explanation from people too broken to even understand the damage they caused. You owe yourself one thing: peace. Not their version, not the kind that depends on who stays or who says sorry. Your peace. The one you built brick by bloody brick inside your own chest, where no snake can slither in, no liar can vandalize it. Calmness is you choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's lonely, even when it's unfair, even when it feels like the whole world's spitting in your face. Calmness is saying, I've been through worse than this, and I'm still here. You can't touch me anymore. You're gonna lose a lot of people on this road, kid. That's another thing they don't warn you about. The more you get calm, the more you build that unshakable core, the more lonely it gets at the top. Because the truth is, most people don't know how to love someone they can't control. They don't know how to stay loyal to someone who doesn't need them to survive. You become a mirror they can't stand to look into, showing them all the places they're still weak, still needy, still screaming for scraps. And instead of respecting you, admiring the strength it took to get where you are, they resent you. They call you cold. They call you distant. They make you out to be the villain just because you finally decided your peace was worth more than their validation. Good. Let them. You don't owe the world a softer version of yourself just to make it comfortable. You don't owe anybody a performance of your pain just so they feel important. Calmness means letting them misunderstand you, letting them talk their nonsense, letting them write their little stories about you, while you keep building your kingdom, brick by brick, in silence. Calmness is understanding you ain't gotta show up to every argument you're invited to. You ain't gotta defend yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You ain't gotta explain to fools what only survivors can recognize. Some battles, the only way you win is by refusing to fight. And make no mistake, the world's gonna test you harder than ever. Right when you think you got it figured out. Right when you think you finally nailed that silence down inside you, life's gonna come swinging. A betrayal you didn't see coming. A loss that rips you apart. A moment so low you wonder if you're even human anymore. And you'll be standing there, shaken, bleeding inside, while the old version of you, the screamer, the pleader, the one who used to fight to be loved, rises up begging for a comeback, but you'll choke it down. You'll stare into that fire with dead eyes, and you'll stay calm, because you'll know by then falling apart is easy. Anybody can collapse. Anybody can scream. But it takes a monster to stay silent when their world is burning. It takes a warrior to sit still while every bone in their body wants to rage. And you ain't just a survivor anymore. You're something more, something darker, something that don't beg, don't scream, don't explain. You're the storm they can't predict. You're the silence they can't break. And that's what scares them the most. Not your strength, not your anger, not your fists or your words. It's your ability to absorb hit after hit, betrayal after betrayal, loss after loss, disappointment after disappointment, and still sit there, cold and breathing, unshaken, unbothered, undefeated. They don't understand it. They think it's inhuman. They call it heartless. But it's the purest form of humanity there is. You didn't get there by avoiding pain. You got there by drowning in it and choosing not to let it own you. You didn't get there by being numb. You got there by feeling everything and still standing tall when most would have folded. You didn't get there by being a monster. You got there by refusing to stay a victim. Calmness is your revenge, kid. It's the proof that no matter what they did, no matter how deep they cut, no matter how hard they tried to break you, they failed. You are the failure of every hand that tried to destroy you. You are the unfinished business of every coward that thought you'd stay down. Calmness ain't weakness. It's victory, sealed in silence, paid for in blood. They never saw you bleed. You know what the real beauty of calmness is, kid? It teaches you how to choose your wars. Before, you were out here swinging at everything that moved. Every insult, every slight, every ghost that whispered your name. You thought every battle needed your blood. You thought every disrespect needed your roar. But now you see clearer. Now you understand. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not every shot fired needs a bullet back. You're not a slave to your emotions anymore. You pick your wars like a king picking who deserves to stand in his court. Most things, they're beneath you. Most people, they're noise. Most insults, they're echoes from mouths too small to matter. When you stay calm, you force yourself to see the long game. You don't just win the argument, you win the war. You don't just get the last word, you get the last laugh, even if they never hear it. 'Cause calmness ain't about letting people walk over you. Nah. It's about stepping over them so cleanly, they don't even realize they're already in the dirt until you're a mile ahead. Untouchable, unforgettable, unfazed. That's power. That's control. And in a world built to keep you angry, keep you distracted, keep you weak, your calmness is the biggest act of rebellion there is. But it ain't easy, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Some days, it'll feel like you're shackled to your own rage, like every breath is a war just to stay silent. Some days, your hands will shake, your jaw will clench, your mind will scream every curse you're too wise to say out loud. And you'll have to sit there, feeling it all. The betrayal, the disrespect, the loneliness, without letting it leak out of you. You'll be standing there, a bomb ready to go off, and you'll have to diffuse yourself without anybody even knowing you were close to explosion. That's strength most people will never even understand. That's strength that doesn't get medals or applause. That's a private strength, a silent strength, the kind that only you and God ever see, the kind that don't need witnesses, don't need validation, don't need nothing but your own reflection in the mirror saying, you made it through another day, without letting the darkness own you. And let's get something straight. Calmness don't mean you ain't dangerous. It don't mean you forgot how to fight. Hell no. It means you've got your demons on a leash now, trained, disciplined, silent, until they're truly needed. You ain't soft, you ain't surrendered. You're a loaded gun that don't fire just because somebody snapped their fingers. You move when you choose, not when they provoke. You act when you decide, not when they push. That's real danger. That's real power. Anybody can lose their temper. Anybody can scream. It takes a different breed to stay calm, to stay focused, to stay cold enough to see 10 moves ahead while everybody else is losing their heads. Calmness is chess in a world full of checkers players. And every time you keep your mouth shut when you could have crushed them, every time you smile when you could have snapped, every time you walk away from a battle that ain't worth your blood, you get stronger, you get smarter, you get more dangerous, until one day they won't even try you anymore. They'll see the calm in your eyes, and they'll understand. This one's already survived everything I could throw at him. This one ain't to be messed with. This one's already been to war, and he came back silent, cold, and untouchable. And here's the thing they'll never admit, kid. The calm ones. The ones who stopped explaining themselves, who stopped begging for scraps of loyalty, who stopped showing their wounds to people with dirty hands. Those are the ones everybody secretly fears. 'Cause when you're calm, you ain't predictable no more. They can't read you. They don't know if you're hurting, if you're plotting, if you're already writing their obituary in your mind. You become something beyond their control. And nothing scares a manipulator more than a soul they can't manipulate. They'll poke. They'll produce. They'll bait you with guilt, with anger, with fake affection. They'll twist stories, play victim, drag your name through mud just to pull something. Anything out to you. And when you don't react, when you don't so much as flinch, oh, you kill them without lifting a damn finger. That's the real power calmness gives you. Not just over yourself, but over the whole damn battlefield. You ain't playing defense anymore. You're owning the board. You're the ghost in the room they can't stop feeling but can't quite touch. You're the weight on their chest when they try to sleep. You're the shadow in their mind, whispering, you lost the best thing you never even understood. But here's the real dark truth you gotta swallow, whether you like it or not. Calmness don't heal the wounds. It don't erase the betrayals. It don't bring back the years you wasted, the pieces of yourself you handed to the wrong hands. No, calmness just teaches you how to live with it, how to carry it, how to walk with a limp they'll never see. You'll still feel it, kid, every day. Some songs will hit you different. Some places will sting. Some memories will sit heavy on your chest like stones. You'll still have nights where you stare at the ceiling, wondering why you ever believed, why you ever loved, why you ever gave anyone the power to hurt you like that. Calmness don't make the pain go away. It makes you the kind of monster who can carry it without dropping your crown. And that's the real victory. Not forgetting, not pretending it never happened, but owning it, wearing every scar like a badge, saying, yeah, they tried to break me, and all they did was sharpen my edges. And don't expect anybody to understand. Don't expect applause for what you survived. Don't expect a damn soul to come hand you a medal for keeping your cool when every part of you wanted to burn the world down. You're gonna have to live with the fact that most people only respect results, not the wars you had to fight inside yourself to get them. They'll see the calm. They'll admire the strength, but they'll never know the cost. They'll never know how many nights you bled in silence, how many battles you fought just to keep yourself from becoming the monster they wanted you to be. And that's fine. That's part of the deal. You don't do this for them. You don't build this cold, silent empire inside your soul for applause. You do it for you. You do it so you can look yourself in the mirror and know, no matter what they threw at you, no matter how bad it got, you never folded. You never became one of them. You stayed solid. You stayed silent. You stayed dangerous. And when the dust settles, when all the fake ones fall away, when all the noise dies down, you'll still be standing. Alone maybe. Bleeding maybe. But standing. And that's all that matters in the end. The coldest part, the one that really bites deep into your bones, is realizing how many of them never cared about you. They only cared about what you gave them. Your time, your attention, your reactions, your pain. You were entertainment, kid. A sideshow to their boring, empty little lives. They didn't love you. They loved the way you crumbled when they pushed you. They loved the way you begged when they threatened to leave. They loved the way you lit up when they gave you crumbs of affection. You were never the prize. You were just a toy. And when you stop reacting, when you stop bleeding for femme, when you sit there calm, dead-eyed like a man who don't need nothing from nobody, that's when the show's over. That's when they move on, looking for a new puppet to string along, a new soul too soft to know the difference between real love and emotional blackmail. And it stings, don't it? It burns like a brand in your chest. But that's what makes calmness so damn important. Because it ain't just about not reacting. It's about finally seeing people for who they are and refusing to bleed for them ever again. And yeah, it'll harden you. It's supposed to. You're gonna get colder, sharper. You're gonna stop explaining yourself to people too deaf to hear the truth. You're gonna stop trying to prove your worth to people too blind to see it. You're gonna stop stretching yourself thin just to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold you. Calmness carves you down to something pure, something dangerous. You won't need crowds. You won't need applause. You won't need anybody to tell you you're enough. You'll know it deep in your bones, deep in your soul. You'll walk into rooms and change the temperature without saying a damn word. You'll make people nervous just by breathing. That's the power you're building, brick by painful brick. Every time you choose silence over rage, composure over chaos, stillness over desperation. And it's the kind of power they'll never be able to steal from you. Not with lies, not with betrayals, not even with heartbreak. But don't get it twisted. This calmness ain't about peace. It ain't about floating through life like some monk humming mantras in the mountains. Nah, it's about discipline. It's about survival. It's about being a beast in a world that loves to tear gentle things apart. It's about knowing how much damage you could do and choosing not to. Not because you're weak, not because you're scared, but because you're focused. Because you understand that most of them ain't even worth the bullets. Most of them ain't even worth the words. Most of them ain't worth the energy it would take to hate them properly. Calmness is looking a fool in the face and saying with your silence, "You ain't even worth my anger," and walking away with your dignity intact while they drown in the noise of their own stupidity. And yeah, you'll lose some battles. You'll have days where the silence feels heavier than the rage ever did. Nights where you sit alone, wondering if maybe you made a mistake. If maybe you should have screamed louder, fought harder, begged longer. But then you'll remember, they heard you, they saw you, they just didn't care. And that's why you're here now, colder and stronger and lonelier than you ever wanted to be, but freer than you ever thought possible. Calmness ain't about winning every fight. It's about choosing yourself every time someone tries to make you forget who the hell you are. It's about refusing to become another broken soul, screaming into the void for a love that ain't never coming. It's about sitting in the silence of your own company and knowing that's enough, that you're enough, that you always were. You gotta understand, kid, this world wasn't built for the calm ones. Nah. It was built for the loudmouths, the clowns, the desperate performers who'll sell their soul just to get claps from a crowd that don't even know their name. It's a rigged game. And the second you stop playing it, the second you fold your arms, lean back, and look 'em dead in the eyes without blinking, you become a threat. You're not entertaining them anymore. You're not feeding their need for drama, for chaos, for weakness they can feel stronger than. You're denying them the one thing they crave most: control. Calmness strips them of their illusion of power. It rips the fake crown off their heads and shows them they ain't kings. They're jesters, dancing for coins in a world too broken to tell the difference. And when you refuse to dance, when you sit there with your eyes cold and your heart even colder, they start to panic. They start to realize they never had you. They never owned you. You let them think they did. You gave them just enough rope to hang themselves, and now you're watching them choke on it without lifting a damn finger. But don't think for a second that calmness means you ain't hurt. Oh, you'll hurt, kid. You'll hurt in ways the screamers and the criers will never understand. 'Cause you ain't out here pouring your wounds into every open ear you can find. You're carrying them inside, buried deep, locked away where nobody can touch them. You'll be smiling on the outside, nodding like everything's fine, while inside, you're holding back a hurricane. And nobody will know. Nobody will ask. Nobody will see the wars you're fighting just to keep your hands steady, your voice calm, your steps deliberate. That's the tax you pay for being untouchable. That's the price for becoming the kind of monster who don't react, don't fold, don't flinch. You carry it all, alone, quiet, invisible to the crowds you used to bleed for, and somewhere deep down, you'll realize that's what real strength looks like. Not crying for attention, not screaming for sympathy, but walking through hell with a locked jaw and dead eyes, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing you break. And the world will lie to you, kid. Oh, they'll lie sweet. They'll tell you calmness makes you cold, that silence makes you bitter, that walking away without a word makes you heartless. They'll say you changed. And you did. You had to. You had to burn the old version of yourself at the stake, the one that needed their approval, their love, their acceptance. You had to let that part of you die screaming just so you could live free. And yeah, it cost you. It cost you softness. It cost you innocence. It cost you the beautiful lie that love was enough to fix broken people. But in return, you got your soul back. You got your fire back. You got a clarity most people will never taste. The clarity of knowing you don't owe anyone your destruction just to make them comfortable. Calmness ain't bitterness. It's wisdom. It's survival. It's a middle finger to every manipulator who ever thought they had you on a leash. So sit in it, kid. Sit in the silence. Sit in the cold. Sit in the lonely nights and the empty phones and the quiet victories nobody claps for. Sit there and know you're building something no applause can give you and no betrayal can take away. You're building yourself, real, raw, indestructible. Calmness ain't the absence of fire. It's the mastery of it. You ain't cold because you're dead inside. You're cold because you learned to control the burn instead of letting it consume you. And when you finally rise, when you finally move, they'll wish you had stayed loud, stayed weak, stayed easy to read, but it'll be too late. You'll be too far gone, too sharp, too silent, too calm to ever be caught slipping again.